Hare Krishna and welcome to our weekly Bhagavad Gita session. We are discussing beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. 2.59 is what we will discuss. Uh, and the topic for today's session is higher taste. We'll soon find out. We'll go through this verse and the dynamics of this verse, different dynamics of this verse to find out why it is known as higher taste and how we can access it. So to start with, let's do a quick activity. Let's go to the chat box and type reason why we are studying Bhagavad Gita. All of us are putting in a lot of effort in studying Bhagavad Gita. All of us have heard about something about Bhagavad Gita. Any activity we do, we generally have some expectation. We have a motive that we have to achieve after doing that activity. Bhagavad Gita, all of us are investing considerable amount of time, which is the most valuable position today. Time, money, our energy and intelligence. We are giving it our mind share, and that's why we are joining every Sunday. All 40 of you are joining very regularly, and so what is it that we want to learn? What benefit that we expect by learning Bhagavad Gita? If you can take to the chat box and start typing for your own respective answers. Need not be a best answer. It's our understanding, based on our understanding, जो हमें लगता है कि हम भगवत गीता पढ़ने से, स्टडी करने से, इम्प्लीमेंट करने से ये लाभ हो सकता है, हमें ये फायदा हो सकता है, इसलिए हम भगवत गीता कर रहे हैं, aren't we? So so let's take to the chat box and start typing and let me know once you are done and we can proceed further. Started getting many answers. Yes. To understand about our position in this world, why we are born, where we have to go back, and what is our goal in life, to question our existence. Another beautiful answer is BG makes to live happily. Makes us to live happily, teaches us to how to live happily, learn teachings of Lord Krishna to mankind. Then another wonderful answer is to learn the way to actually live life as per the guidance by Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, and to connect with Him deeply through His guidance. Next, another wonderful answer is reality, life, ethics, and moksha, liberation. Um, Ravi Proj is writing Bhagavad Gita is living meaningful life. Correct. That's nice answers. All nice answers. To know the purpose of human life, benefit is we will get the path to reach that purpose. The purpose of human life. It's paradox still. You have to stay more set more clearly. What is that purpose of human life, which Bhagavad Gita will enable us to achieve? You can elaborate on that if you wish to, Mataji. Tolerance, humility, self-realization, learning these qualities. Okay. BG gives to understand the absolute truth of life. Another answer is BG gives deep understanding and meaning of true life. Abhishek Prabhuji is saying to know who we are, why we are here, and what is our dharma to do in this life, and what is motive is to know yourself and why we are so obsessed with Krishna. Okay. We study Bhagavad Gita for inner peace, its um, guidance, know how to live and purpose, responsibilities. We get jnana and go to Krishna. Another answer. Reading Bhagavad Gita because Krishna is explaining what is motive of human life and what to do in life. Okay. Uh, Bhakti Yoga is main motto through the Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So a lot of answers. I'll not be able to read through all of those, but thank you so much for taking time out. Those who have not been able to do this, please do it. I'll take another a minute, and will proceed with our session. Don't lose out. Don't lose out. Those who have joined just now, maybe, we are discussing. We're doing this activity. We're typing in the chat box. I'll get to know. I'll get to retrieve that file, so I'll get to know who's answering what. Then that we are saying what is the goal of learning Bhagavad Gita? Why we are trying to study Bhagavad Gita? What do we expect to get out of it? Okay. Yeah. Well, let's proceed further. So we are in the section of Bhagavad Gita where we are learning, where we are discussing few verses from the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna has already surrendered to Krishna in the seventh verse, and Krishna has started giving instructions to Arjuna. The section, big section, is section 2.12 to 2.30, where Krishna explains the concept of soul. That everything is not matter, and everything should not matter also. So there is a spirit, there is a soul, there is a matter, and spirit, it what's spiritual spark. That's what the soul is. You should be concerned about that, not the matter. Matter means the body is made up of matter which comprises of earth, water, fire, air, ether, and in different proportions, different properties, different combination, these five matters are combined and presented to us by way of our body. Now this matter, we cannot be saved, and the soul cannot be destroyed. So this is the instruction given. We've discussed those through a very significant section of class. One of the class where we discuss this in detail, in depth, that how if we are disoriented, if we are our orientation in life is wrong, how we get wrong purpose and perform wrong activities. If we think we are body, then the orientation becomes, the purpose of body becomes to give comfort to the body and have sense gratification as much as you can, and through that purpose we perform activities which we are totally directed towards our sense gratification, and we miss out on the chance of feeding our soul with Krishna, with the spiritual activities. So we should have right orientation. Moving forward, we also studied how how focus is required in life, how vyavasaitmaka buddhi ekeha kurunandana, and the parallelly, if we what is preventing us from that focus is bhogaishwarya prasaktalam taya aparate chetasam. So if you are too much attached to the bhoga and aishwarya, then you cannot perform sadhana properly. We'll elaborate on that section only. In the 53rd verse, moving forward, Krishna speak something very significant, and he speak about a person who has control over his mind, a significant control over his mind, and such person can remain in fixed in trance of self-realization. Arjuna found this position to be very attractive, and then he's inquiring further about how to attain that kind of a position where if I get into that position, I will not be affected by the highs and lows that the life present to me. And so this is very attractive. This was very attractive for Arjuna. So he's inquiring in the 54th verse that स्थित प्रज्ञस्य का भाषा, the स्थित प्रज्ञ ये जो आपने describe किया है in the 53rd verse, स्थित प्रज्ञस्य का भाषा समाधिस्तस्य केशव स्थितधिः किम प्रभाषेत किम आसीत व्रजेत किम. Arjuna is asking Krishna, "Oh Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in the transcendence? How does he speak? What is his language? And how does he sit? And how does he walk?" So these questions are summarized in this table. Ka bhasha. What is the general symptoms? They are replied by Krishna in the 55th verse, in the same chapter. Krim prabhasheta. How does he speak? On receiving praise, or blame, affection or hate, what will he say internally as well as externally? It is important we say something internally, we say something externally. And Arjuna is inquiring about both aspects. In boss, for example, in offices, all of those who are working, we go to office at times, we don't we hear from our bosses. Bosses speak rudely with us, harshly with us, can give us a piece of their mind. Internally, we may be cursing. We may be cursing that person. We may be abusing that person internally, but externally, we will say, "Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Will not. I'll not. I'll ensure this will not happen again, sir." And externally, we may cover up, but internally, we may see something different. Now, Arjuna know that this person internally is also not affected. Now, externally, he may answer very politely, depending on the situation, but internally, this person is still agitated. Now, Arjuna knows that the person described by Krishna does not even get agitated internally. That's why Arjuna is becoming very attracted to this person and wants to know, what does this person do? How can I become like this person? The one who doesn't even get internally agitated. Externally, he may remain calm, he may remain composed, he may show that he is calm and composed, but internally also one should not be affected. Now, that answer Krishna has given in the 56th and 57th verse. Kim Asita. How does he see it? Krishna is asking, Arjuna is asking that how he restrain from his senses from the sense object, because the world is filled with temptation, world is filled with attractions, different attractions. And how, if one has to remain fixed, one has to, how if one claim to have control over his mind, will have control over his senses. Now, Arjuna find that to be very attractive thing. Okay, if one does not fall down for the sense object, if one is allured or tempted by sense object, and one is able to restrain himself, Arjuna wants to know how is he able to do that. Vrajeta Kim. Now, it's not that this person has suspended all activities, he does nothing. It's not the case, he does things as well. So Arjuna wants to know how he acts also in this world, which is filled with, again, temptations, so which are answered from the 64th till 71st verse. So this whole section is beautiful. We can say that these are Krishna has become a teacher of sense control and mind control. Now, all the instructions that Krishna will speak in this entire section, starting from 2.54 till 2.71, will talk something about mind control, sense control, intelligence control, and thereby, so this is control governance that Krishna is presenting to Arjuna, starting with the 55th verse, where Krishna is saying that prajahati yada kaman sarva partha manogatan atmanye atmana tushtaha sthita prajna tadochyate. He's saying, though Partha, uh, Sada, that desires were all give up all varieties of desires for sense gratification which arise from mental concoction. Now we discussed this in detail in our previous session. Uh, so he is differentiating between the norm desires which are bodily desires and desires which come from mental concoction. If you are not eaten for 10 hours, 12 hours, naturally your bodily desire will be hunger. You'll feel hungry. But I only want to eat cakes, pastries, pizzas, and pastas is not bodily desire. It's a sensual desire. So when a person is really hungry, he can eat anything and everything. He can eat anything, whichever simple food offered, it will taste like amrut to him. But when the desires are coming from body, mental concoction, then he think my hunger can only be satisfied by when I'm fed with pastries and pizza. That is not bodily hunger. Krishna is asking us to differentiate between the two, that desires which are necessities, which comes from the bodily urges, bodily maintenance, and the desires which come from mental concoction. And he's saying the other desires which arise out of mental concoction, you should be able to control, and thus you will be able to purify yourself. Moving on, Krishna is also saying that dukheshu anudvigna manaha sukheshu vigata spruha. Dukha and sukha may one should not be disturbed internally also. Now, this is the symptom of a devotee. Of a devotee who has advanced in his practice of devotional service, that he is not disturbed in his mind, in the mind, amidst threefold miseries. When miseries come, when difficult situations comes, one should not be disturbed even internally. One may sometimes show externally कि हम बहुत cool है, but internally there could be war, that could be completely agitation going on inside. What happens inside nobody can see, but the person may be battling various arguments internally, and externally he may show that I am calm and cool. But this Krishna is describing a person who doesn't even get disturbed internally, even amidst threefold miseries. And one is free from attachment, as well as during happiness. Moments of happiness, he doesn't get elated. During miseries, he doesn't get disturbed. Now, such a person is free from attachment, fear, anger, is called Muni, is called Sitadhir Munir Uchate. Now, Arjuna is interested in becoming like this person, becoming a muni, becoming a person who should not be agitated in the midst of miseries, in the midst of even when they are exposed to happiness. Then Krishna gives example of a tortoise. How he's saying beautifully that one is able to withdraw his senses from the sense object, just like tortoise draw its limbs within its shell, and that's how one is able to remain fixed in perfect consciousness. And then we have today's verse. Today's verse, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param drashtva nivartate. Where Krishna is saying that although the embodied soul may be restricted from the sense enjoyment, the taste for sense object remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in the consciousness. Now, fixed in consciousness means remaining fixed on the path of devotional service. We may have decided to become devotees of Lord Krishna, and that's why we are practicing, we are joining Bhagavad Gita classes, we are coming to temple, we are following Ekadashi Vrata, we are doing japa, we are started chanting 16 rounds or 8 rounds, 10 rounds, whatever our time schedule permits, our inspiration permits. We have started doing all of this because we want to become devotee of Lord Krishna, and you all have given purpose also. Those who've joined late, we did one activity in the chat box. Everyone has typed, why they are trying to study Bhagavad Gita. So we have suddenly the count has gone up to 53. So many people, those people who have joined later, take time out to type in the chat box why you are trying to learn Bhagavad Gita. What is your motive? What benefit you think you will get by learning Bhagavad Gita? So make sure that you then do this activity in next 1 minute in the background. I will take a look at those statements later. But this is what we did at the beginning. So now this is so Krishna is saying that you should remain fixed in devotional service. अगर हम engineering course join करते हैं, which is last for about 4 years, we should we should remain fixed on that on that path so that we can become engineer. Medicine होता है जो MBBS होता है, that has certain duration, and if after 1 year we start feeling नहीं नहीं मुझे तो engineering करना चाहिए था, engineering भी नहीं मुझे तो CA करना चाहिए था, मुझे तो MBA बनना चाहिए था, ये डॉक्टर ही बेकार है. Now if one is surrounded by those doubts, such doubts and such difficulties, one will not be able to continue. One may not be able to continue on the path. So, one should be bhakti is no different. We take education as an example, but bhakti is no different. Bhakti में अब once आप आ गए तो you should also remain fixed in the on the path. You should be committed to the path. जैसे आप कमिटेड नहीं रहोगे तो अब डॉक्टर कभी बन ही नहीं पाओगे, कमिटेड नहीं रहोगे तो इंजीनियर भी नहीं बन पाओगे। 2 साल, 3 साल, 4 साल, वॉट एवर दैट ड्यूरेशन इज, आपको कमिटमेंट दिखाना पड़ेगा। एंड दैट्स हाउ यू विल सक्सीड इन गेटिंग अ डिग्री। सिमिलरली भक्ति में सक्सेस के लिए ऑल्सो वी नीड टू शो commitment which is free from doubt and free from distractions. So that's how we can remain fixed in consciousness, Krishna consciousness. Now उसके लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा? uh, what is preventing us from practicing bhakti? We have to identify those things. And Krishna is saying that the soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, even though, matlab, when we follow four regulative principles, we are restricting soul, restricting those senses, depriving those senses of the sense objects. Tongue may want to taste meat and alcohol and want to smoke cigarette, but once we come become devotees, we are practicing devotees, we try our best to avoid those things, indulging in those things. It's not that in the past we might have had done those things, we might have had eaten meat, we might have had smoked, we might have had drank alcohol, and we actually could have had good time. But today, after coming to Krishna consciousness, we are trying to give up those activities. And that is how we are trying to restrict, deprive our senses of those sense objects. Now, the taste still remains. The taste of meat eating, if one has indulged in meat eating, will always remain. A person who has been alcoholic earlier, previous, before coming to Krishna consciousness, now the taste for alcohol also remains in his memory, recent memory. So how do we keep saying no all the time? Which is difficult. So Krishna says, give the positive engagement to the senses. How? Give them higher taste. Once they get higher taste, they will be able to give up lower taste. It's a child. uh, Child uh, loves to eat chocolate. All children, small children, they love chocolate, and they can't make much sense out of a 500 rupee note. If you have chocolate in one hand and 500 rupee note on another hand, most small children will actually go for chocolate, because that is what has given, in their recent experience, that is what gives them immediate happiness. By eating chocolate, they feel happy. Now they are not able to, they don't have knowledge, they don't have realization that 500 rupee can give them hundreds of such chocolates, many such chocolates, many more such chocolates. So rather than opting for one chocolate, I should opt for 500 rupees so that I can get many more chocolates. Now this is a higher taste. Once we have that higher experience, a higher taste, we should be able to give up the lower taste. Let's move further. Let's take a pause and look back from where we started off. Our journey began with Arjuna. Our journey is, we are moving with Arjuna in this journey. Arjuna at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita was crying. Chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita ends by describing Arjuna's horrible condition. Horrible condition. Arjuna, the Pandavas had faced so much of so much, कितना दुख सहा है उन्होंने. Their they were cheated in the game of gambling. Their wife was insulted. They, with their wife and their mother, were sent to forest. They are kshatriyas. Kshatriyas are meant to rule, and they were begging. They were begging, practically living like beggars and sadhus in forest, and they were attempted to kill on multiple occasions by Duryodhana on and his and his mandali. so so they had all the reasons for taking revenge, fighting this war. Despite of that, Arjuna, when the situation of war actually arose, panicked. Just like if a final over has to be bowled in a cricket match, and the main bowler that you turn to, and he says, no, no, I can't bowl. If I bowl and they win, our side will feel bad. If I bowl well and we win, people from their country, they will feel bad. I don't want to any I did neither want victory, neither I want to lose. So I will not bowl only. Now that was kind of a situation that Arjuna was giving so many reasons, and he was unable to stand in his on his chariot. He sat down, he gave up his gandiva, and he started crying in on the battlefield. Now that's a it's a very significant event. A kshatriya can give up his life but will never run away from battle. Now Arjuna is refusing to fight. It's a unheard of thing. Arjuna had taken a vow that he will never give up his Gandiva bow. And Arjuna had dropped that band. He was not able to even hold that Gandiva. So it was a extremely difficult condition. And Arjuna Kshatriya crying is something never heard of. Kshatriya will die, rather cry. That's that kind of a image, Kshatriya, that kind of a uh, that is Kshatriya. That is why they are known as Kshatriya. That is why they are famous Kshatriyas. Same Arjuna becomes Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara. The same Arjuna becomes Dhanurdhar Arjun. Means he has now picked up his bow and he is becoming ready to fight according to the instructions to be given by Krishna. Now, this is the transformation. He is no more crying. His limbs of his body are no more quivering. He has regained his strength. He says, Nashto moha smrutir labdva tvat prasadan maya achyuta. ओ अच्युता, आपके कृपा से मेरा मोह नष्ट हो गया है और मेरी स्मृति वापस आ गई है. I now I understand completely and understand what am I supposed to do. Sthitosmi, I'm fixed in my understanding. गत संदेह, सारा संदेह दूर हो चुका है. करिष्ये वचनम तव, I will do whatever you will ask me to do. I'm ready for your service. And without doubt, without any sandeha. So this is the transformation journey that Arjuna has undertaken. From crying Arjuna to fighting Arjuna, or without fighting with all his might, all his strength, without doubt, wholeheartedly, he is ready to now serve Krishna. How did this journey happen? At the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, at a mental level, Arjuna is discouraged. Discouraged means he doesn't want to fight, doesn't feel like fighting. He gives various reasons for that, and he's actually feeling discouraged at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. At the intellectual level, he's confused. He don't know. One of the verses he says, "I don't know if winning is important or losing is important. Is it rather than killing my guru and my elders, I will go begging. I will go and beg for rest of my life to live, to survive. Why it is so important to kill so many people just for me winning or my brothers winning a small piece of land, when we know even this is temporary." So at an intellectual level, and Arjuna is confused. Confused means one don't know what to do. What is right, what is wrong, one is unable to decide. And that's what Arjuna confessed to Krishna. And then he says, Karpanya dosho svabhavaha pruchhami tvam dharma sammudha chetaha. I am asking you to tell me with with conviction, with पक्का बता दो मुझे कि what is my dharma, what am I supposed to do in the current situation. शिष्यस्ते अहम शाधि मात्वम प्रपन्नम. मैं आपका मालिक नहीं हूं. मैं रथ में पीछे बैठा हूं, उच्चासन पे बैठा हूं, but it doesn't mean that I am your malik. You are my, I am your eternal servant. I am your shishya, and you are my eternal master. So please instruct me, O Arjuna, O Krishna. That's how Arjuna surrenders to Krishna. And towards the end of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is at a mental level, Arjuna is clear and convinced about his duty, about his role that he has to play in the war. And at an intellectual level, Arjuna is confident and encouraged. Now, this is the transformation journey that happened in Arjuna through the learning, because of the learning of the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. Now, externally, nothing changed for Arjuna. Internally, everything was externally earlier also. He was showing some bodily symptoms, but nothing nothing was different. Externally, the situation was same, battlefield was the same, the opponent was the same, his weapons were the same, all the strength that he had was the same. So it was the same Arjuna externally, but internally this Arjuna was devastated. This Arjuna was completely lost his composure, and at the end of Bhagavad Gita he regained his composure, he regained his purpose, he regained his strength, and with complete strength, complete might, wholeheartedly, he is becoming prepared to fight the war. So, this transformation in Arjuna was caused by the message of Bhagavad Gita. That is what Miss Bhagavad Gita learning is capable of doing to us if we sincerely apply, learn and apply the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. It can cause transformation in our life. Now, do you think it's a positive transformation? Because transformation can be negative also. So, do you understand this is a positive transformation or a negative transformation? Should we go for it? Should we not go for it? Is it better to feel confused, or is it better to feel confident and encouraged? Is it better to be discouraged in life, where we don't feel like doing things, or is it better to be convinced and do things in wholehearted way? What is better? Yeah, you can type one or two, one for the left hand side and two for the right hand side. So it's better, yeah. Two is always better. It's always better to be convinced, to be convicted about things, to be clear about things, confident about things, and that is what we will get uh, from by learning Bhagavad Gita in our life. That's why we should never give up study of Bhagavad Gita. No matter how much expert we may think we have become in Bhagavad Gita, we should never give up Bhagavad Gita. Because Bhagavad Gita will keep surprising you with different answers to the same questions. Here, take an example of a common God believer. For him, what does this signify? The big circle of world and Krishna a small circle, or God as a small circle. What does this signify? Anybody can unmute and speak very quickly. What sense you can make out of it, out of this? The big circle
Hare
of
Krishna,
world.
Prabhuji.
Yes, yes.
Prabhuji, this means that normal, common God believers or like dharmic people, they think that all the worldly duties are their first priority, and Krishna or any God they believe that is their second priority, or even after the priority of family, job, मतलब मैं अपनी सारी ड्यूटीज करूंगा और फिर जितना भी टाइम बचेगा उसमें मैं कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस या फिर गॉड कॉन्शियसनेस परफॉर्म करूंगा.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Anybody want to add?
It's like Krishna is just a part of the world, and the world is more bigger than Krishna. We should enjoy whatever we have come for. Krishna is just a part of it. The devotion is just a part of that particular process, and whenever we get the time, we should do the devotion.
Okay. Why we are not talking about non-believers here? Here we starting only, our starting point itself is common God believers. Now they could be believers in Kaluwai Mata of some village, whatever they could be. I've traveled from home to office. There's a tree, under in that tree there are many pictures are there. People go very बहुत भाव से लोग वहां जाके पानी डालते हैं, बैठते हैं, कुछ प्रेयर करते हैं. Why we are not considering non-believers? Non-believers वो उतना भी नहीं करेंगे.
they any which ways don't believe in God. So कृष्णा को तो बहुत दूर की बात है.
So they, the second circle doesn't exist for them. So that's why we are not even considering them right now. Okay. Yeah, I think Mataji, both of you, I think, mentioned this. The world, for this common believers, the world is a source of happiness. God is a means to achieve that worldly pleasure. Verses, not verses, but comparison. A devotee of Lord Krishna, devotee of Lord Krishna has, uh, yeah, I should have asked this question, but anyway, for
So
them,
this is the
Krishna,
world.
yeah, the world is small and Krishna is big. Krishna is the source of happiness. World is a mean to serve Krishna. So let's go through what does that mean. What you see in image is a up and down graph, a graph which is going up and sometime down. All of you can agree that this is how our life is. Say yeah, type yes if you make understand this. Our life is like this, aren't we? Sometimes we have good time, we go up. Sometimes we face a lot of problems, a lot of challenges in life, and we kind of go down. Yeah, I'm parallelly looking in the chat box also. So this depicts kind of our life, right? So this is actually, yes, that's true. Shitoshna sukha dukkadaha. Matra sparsha sukante shitoshna sukha dukkadaha. So shita and ushna, the and then dukkeshu anudvigna manah sukheshu vigata spruha. Again, the 2.56 verse also again Krishna is repeating. So Krishna is repeatedly saying that there will be moments of joy and moments of sorrow, moments of happiness, moments of distress in your life. Everyone, this is common to everyone. Can somebody say that they have never experienced misery in their life? Can anyone ever say that they have never experienced any moment of happiness in their life? Either way, can it be possible? Yes, no? Correct. So basically, it's impossible for everyone who experience happiness will also experience misery. Their misery can come by reducing the happiness. It's also going away of that happiness itself can become a miserable experience for them. The old age, disease, and death. These are distresses. They cause enough distress to anyone and everyone, and whoever has taken birth will definitely is certainly going to face these difficulties. So every one of us actually is going to go through this the ups and downs of life, so called. And Krishna, from the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, is encouraging Arjuna to become tolerant because these are going to be there for everyone, even for Arjuna. These moments of ups and moments of downs will exist. Now we've seen in our previous sessions that why they cause, why what is the reason of them. We'll not go into that aspect today, but Krishna is let's go with the notion that Krishna is asking us to become tolerant, knowing that the lows are caused by our own karmic reactions, and the highs also are caused by the karmic reactions. These are all sanctioned by Krishna, and we just get to experience the fruits of our own past activities. So to be tolerant in happiness and distress, pleasure and pain, moments of glory and failure, ups and down that life will provide us with. Now, this is the constant message Krishna will give throughout Bhagavad Gita. Starting from 2.14 till the end, till the 18th chapter, Krishna will repeatedly give this instruction. Don't be puffed up. Don't be proud. Don't be overly elated or become arrogant and greedy when you get some success and glory. Why? Because everything comes with the mercy of Krishna, with the sanction of Krishna. So just express your gratitude towards Krishna when something good happened to you. Don't try run behind taking credit. Had Krishna not given sanctioned it, you would not have got it. Had Krishna not the qualities using which you think you have got the glory are also given by Krishna. The talent that you feel are your talent. The skills that you know what you are famous for are also Krishna given skills. So there is no need for you to be overly puffed up or proud or elated, become arrogant, become greedy for more. You think you can, if you work hard, you will get more. No, no, that's not going to happen. Krishna's sanction is required every step. So you should be, you should not be overly happy, neither you should be overly sad, because 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 again all the difficult situations in your life are also coming with the sanction of Krishna, and those exist because of your own past colorful actions, bad actions that you have performed. So neither you should be overly depressed nor you should be overly happy. And so while facing the difficulties or facing the happy situations, our mental health largely depends on our ability to deal with ups and downs that we will experience in this world. All of us by default will have ups and downs in our life. Nobody can claim to have that they only have experienced ups in their life. They have not seen any downs, and nobody will can ever say that they have only get got miseries in their life. They have been no moments of happiness in their life. That's not the case. Everyone has this graph going up and down. Their mental health today's times, we understand that mental health issues are huge. So so why they arise, the primary source of the mental health issue also is in inability of people to deal with life's ups and downs. One, they don't know why they arise, and they don't know how to respond to those ups and downs, and hence a lot of those ups and downs lead to mental health issues. Internally, ideally, internally, we should not be affected or devastated, or too elated or puffed up. Either way, externally, we may express depend on the time, place, circumstances, and by our own nature. I mean, person leave their body, our loved ones leave their body. It's naturally for everyone to cry. It doesn't mean that a devotee, if you are a devotee, you should not cry. Some people will, depending on their nature, depending on the circumstances, some people will cry, people will cry when they, their loved ones will give up their bodies. And but devotee understand the event, the sincerity of the event, the seriousness of the event. And even when the soul is about to leave the body, devotee will make arrangement for him to remember Krishna. So despite of feeling sad internally as well as externally, a devotee will not miss out on his duty of giving Krishna's remembrance to the departing soul. So that is how a devotee will respond in every situation. uh, he will neither be overly happy, overly joyous, overly elated, or overly depressed. He will be balanced. He will be able to maintain balance while going through the life's ups and downs. And um, that's how a devotee will not get much affected by the dualities that they experience in the world, because they know the reason behind it. Simple. In general, people come to God for peace. Have you heard in somebody saying that, or you yourself would have said this, कि मंदिर आने के बाद बहुत अच्छा लगता है, शांत लगता है, जपा करने के बाद one feels good. Why have you experienced anybody saying this to you? Have you experienced yourself saying this? Yeah, take to chat box, say yes if you have
Yes,
heard
I
anybody.
have experienced this by personally also many times.
Personally also you feel that we feel peaceful once you're in contact with God, one feel peaceful. And the yeah, there are many yeses. Even I have personally experienced a lot of people come to Krishna, come to temple for getting a peace of mind. They say it's a Vaikuntha. Kuntha means chinta, and Vai is without chinta. The temple is a place where there is no chinta. And a lot of people, I visit Juhu temple often, Bhiwandi temple quite often. So you see people come there and just sit around, do nothing. They just want to be, they just look smiling, they just sit there smiling for hours. And because they forget, they want to forget their problems, and that's why they come and sit in the temple environment, because that place, the positivity is so much, the Lord's presence is so overwhelming, that gives them a lot of peace of mind. They experience a lot of peace of mind in the world. However, the lot of those people, they come to Krishna for peace, but they expect world to provide them happiness. Their Krishna is not source of their happiness yet, which means for feeling peaceful, they come to Krishna, they come to God, but feeling happy, they are still dependent on the world. Now, devotees make peace with the world, don't get too much affected by the ups and downs, and continue to serve Krishna in every situation. This is the we are still differentiating between the those who have world as a big circle, and God as a small circle, and devotees who have world as a small circle and God as a big circle. this is how we this is how we our condition is. If we are not attached to God, then we will have all these attachments: attachment to our spouse, attachment to the family, attachment to money, attachment to work. It's a fashion today to call yourself workaholic, and they take pride that they have no other attachment but attached to their work. Possession attachment. A lot of people are attached to possessing the latest and the best in the market, be it technology, be it dress, uh, so pleasure centeredness, friend centeredness, and if nothing left, then dog centeredness. In the many countries around the world, they're dog centered countries, because people mostly have lived alone. They've not had formal relationships like marriages. They've had many partners. They suffer through many diseases. End of the life, they they have a dog, and they lead a dog-centered life, and nothing else really is left in their life. In the old age, you know, that is what they are left with. So let's understand this. In general, people come to God for peace, and they expect world to provide them with happiness and pleasure. Can we find similarities with these two statements? Anybody would like to share that? When what do you can you elaborate on these two statements? When we say that people don't go to God, they're dependent on the world to give them happiness. What does it really mean? And they are dependent on God to provide those happiness, that happiness, to make to make facilitate those happiness. Can somebody elaborate on this?
Actually, we all believe that other surroundings, our other people around the world, the situations that are happening, the circumstances which are there, affects us positively or negatively depending upon what is happening around. Because we maybe we lack that inner confidence that yes, we can be happy by connecting to God, and He is inside us. We are not seeing it yet. So we just believe that whatever is happening around is the only real world,
Correct.
and that's how it is affecting us.
So, which are the sources of happiness people pursue in the world?
Somebody praising us, we feel happy. Somebody talking bad about us, we feel bad. It is just that minute also.
It is that planet. Okay, thank you so much, Mataji. Anybody
Hare
else?
Krishna.
Yes,
Hare
Vinay.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
So we feel like if we have a good car, good house, good facility, good friends roaming around the world, we seek happiness in that, and we come to God saying that please provide me this facility, and pray God that my son should get this position, I should get this property. So actually we are doing reverse. We are seeking happiness in outside world, and to get those happiness, we are coming to God to provide those facilities to seek the happiness. So if we reverse this thing, I think we should be more happy than what we are at moment.
Okay, you're right, and we seek happiness in all of these things, be it sex, be it relationships, be it possessions, and be it the other things that you elaborated. And
Basically, the expectations.
yes, so and none of those really makes us truly happy. Can somebody say why?
Because it is limited to our knowledge of expectations. If it is not as per the expectation, we'll not be happy. Our happiness and definition is just directly related to our expectations
The
and
expectation.
understanding.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody else?
The thing
Because it
is,
is temporary.
Prabhuji,
Yes. Yes,
yeah.
Praji.
So happiness, what we seek is limited and time bound till we get any better thing. Like if I have got a good cycle at the beginning of my childhood, I was so happy. Then later I got a car, maybe a normal model car. Then further, if I'm expecting for something higher, so that journey, that run will never stop. So our happiness is actually keep on diminishing, and then we are looking happiness in another thing.
Newer
So
things.
yeah, newer
No,
things.
no.
So that limit is to accommodate more and more facility of eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. So we are running around those facility and trying to get higher and higher in that direction, and ultimately we are not reaching to the real happiness where we need to seek to.
Correct. And it is endless, isn't it? The desires are endless. I mean, it truly endless. And not that all desires we will get, that makes us unhappy. Not that whatever we get meets our expectation. Again, we can become unhappy. Whatever we get meets our expectation doesn't last forever. Again, when it goes away, again we become unhappy, and a lot of it we will never get. Again, that will cause us unhappiness. So, Kanchan Mataji, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just thinking that how funny it is that we all almost everybody knows that this is illusion, this is temporary, this is not going to be with us forever, but still we believe that it should happen in the same way. So that's the main catch.
Paradox. So that's a paradox. We'll take a look now. From this moment onwards, in the remaining of the class, we'll try to see why does paradox exist and how we can break this. So thank you so much for bringing this point. So that is wow. That is how
Uh,
Yes, sorry. Anybody want to say anything?
yeah, Karthik Prabhuji wanted to say something.
Yes.
Yes, next.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna to everybody in the group. There is one thing which I've always seen. I always have this habit of people happy to give to people or to give something to our people who are with us who are also not related to us. But I've seen that that happiness stays for a very less amount of time. That person who, if we know him or if we even don't know him, probably that fades away. So we have to struggle back again to get the same. This is what somewhere I felt like, yeah, when we pray, probably that happiness stays for long. This is what I wanted to share.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I feel,
Yes, ma'am.
hello.
Yes,
Yeah,
Mataji.
I feel that, we feel that by getting material happiness, we will, by material things, we will get happiness. But actually, we are spiritual soul. That is why we get only in God's name, we will really get our happiness and peace.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mataji. Swapnil Roji, you want to say something?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare.
Prabhuji, what I feel is happiness is not so bad, but comparing the happiness that makes us more stressed. We compare the happiness and then we start having more desires and we try to see that my happiness is lesser than their happiness. why not achieve that happiness? And that is the beginning of all miseries in life. So we should stop comparing ourselves with others, and we should have the true happiness, follow the true happiness. And that's the point. By having Krishna consciousness, we will follow the true happiness, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
pranam.
Yeah, thank you so much, Roger. So wonderful contributions. Thank you so much for contributing. So let's proceed further. Let's see how to break this paradox or how to break this mystery. For devotees, their source of happiness is Krishna. For devotees, their source of happiness, they make Krishna as the source of their happiness. For new non-devotees, the world is a big circle and their God is a small circle. For them, uh, their source of happiness comes from the world, comes from the alcohol, comes from the cigarette they smoke, comes from the car they want to buy, comes from the dream home they want to have, comes from the vacation, that dream vacation that they wish to enjoy, comes from the relationships that they want to have with another partners, come from these are their happiness is dependent on the external worldly things and worldly events. Their happiness depends on whether India is winning the cricket match or losing, and so on and so forth. Uh, so world is not in their control. The world, none of the nothing in the world is in our control. And that therefore their happiness that they experience is also very fragile, very temporary, very difficult to get. Even if they get, difficult to meet their expectation. Even if they get and meet their expectation, it is difficult to retain for long time, so it goes away. When it goes away again, the misery returns. So as long as as long as we have world as our big circle and God we consider to be a small circle somewhere, we are likely to be living in more distress than happiness. We are likely to experience more distress than happiness. For a small quantity of happiness, we will go through a turmoil of or a huge quantity of distress. It's not that there's no happiness at all, but that's how the disproportionate our happiness versus our miseries are in the material world. Therefore Krishna has spoken that this is the dukkhalayam ashashvatam, because it's not that even in jail some people have good time, but primarily jail is meant to give you pain, and that is what everyone experiences. So similarly, the world people will get some small bits and pieces of happiness, but by and large this world is designed to give us pain. Anitya Asukham Lokam. 9.3, Krishna again repeats the point that he spoke in 8 chapter 14th verse. That where in 8 chapter 14th verse Krishna says Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. This is a house of misery. जैसे पुस्तकालय होता है वैसे ये दुखालय है. And Ashashvatam. This is temporary. And in 9th chapter again he says Anityam. Anityam means जो टेम्पररी है, जो नित्य नहीं है. And asukam means opposite of sukha. This is filled with misery. So anityam asukham lokam. So that is what the world is all about. So um just hold on. Yeah. so so this is so for devotees, Krishna is their big circle and world is a small circle. What does that mean? We will understand this in the subsequent point bullets. A non-devotee romanticizes the world or demonize the world. So when things are happening according to your plans, you romanticize the world. The world is the best place. World is dance. The whole universe is aligning with you to fulfill your dreams. You have seen that. um, some of the theories actually explains this, how the whole universe can stand behind you to fulfill your dream if you dream it sincerely, if you are very sincere. So this is romanticizing the world. Nothing is in our control in the world, but we believe that everything is aligned to fulfill our desire. And sometimes we actually see the series of events happening in that way, and which makes us believe that I'm romanticizing with this world. The world is at my service, one feels. When that doesn't happen, we demonize the world. The world, we criticize the world. We consider the world to be everything in the world to be bad. Now, everything in the world neither is good, and neither everything in the world is bad, terrible. But when, according to how we are getting results, we either romanticize the world or we demonize the world. Devotees, on the other hand, actually neither romanticizes the world nor demonize the world, but they focus on utilizing the world to serve Krishna. They see world as an opportunity to serve Krishna. They see working in a job as an opportunity to feed, to serve their family members, to become nice devotees of Krishna. They see the grocery market as an opportunity to buy some groceries, fruits, and vegetables so that nice bhoga can be cooked and offered to Krishna. They see this world as an opportunity to serve Krishna. They see world as an opportunity to serve Krishna. This is why they are neither attached or attracted to the world, which is the case with non-devotees. They are attached and attracted to the world. Devotees are attached and attracted to the name, fame, form, shape, pastimes of Lord Krishna. Their attachment is with Krishna, and the non-devotees' attachment is with the world. So our attachment and attraction determines the size of circle. If we are, in American people, in America nobody knows about cricket. So if ask an American person how big cricket is, he will draw a very small circle, because for an American person, cricket means an insect. A small insect is known as cricket. They call that insect as cricket. So for them, it is insignificant. They don't care about it. But for an Indian person, cricket is a big circle, because they are so much attached to cricket. They're so much attracted towards cricket. When cricket match is going on, the whole city, whole country comes to a standstill. So cricket is a huge big circle for an Indian, but it's a very insignificant small person for an American. So wherever our attachments are, wherever our attractions are, that determines the size of circle that we have for that particular thing. So, and these attachments distort our vision. They make things bigger in our consciousness. Is cricket that big that the whole country should come to a standstill? It is not, but our attachment to it is such that we make it big. We make it big circle, and that's why we give it too much of importance that it doesn't deserve. And so whatever gets our attention, that will catch us. We will be serving that object for long time. But if you have to go grow spiritually, the things of this world, which we are attached to, um, they are currently bigger in size in our consciousness, need to become small, and we need to limit our exposure to these things. Eventually they become smaller. So what we are saying is, uh, in this particular circle, um, the world today, we are at the beginning of our devotional service, and we want to move from point A to point B, from here to here. We want to go there. How do we go? It's not easy. So we have to create this world where we are searching for happiness today. Overnight we will not be able to switch to this. We need to create some boundaries in this world, so that we can make this world a smaller circle and allow Krishna to become a bigger circle. Now this is something that we will talk about, how to do this. So by creating a safe space for ourselves. So if we have to grow spiritually, uh, the if we have to allow Krishna circle to become big, we must allow the other circle to become small. It's like when we want to have light inside the house, the darkness you don't have to push out. You just switch on the light, the darkness will go away. You can't have light and darkness simultaneously. So similarly, the worldly pleasures, our focus on worldly pleasures and focus on Krishna, they work in the opposite direction. If you want Krishna, then the world will become small. If you want world, then Krishna will become small. It's one of the two we may have to choose. So let's see how we go about doing this. We need to find out what our worldly attractions and attachments are and create some barrier or boundaries between us and them to limit us from overindulging in those things. Money is important. We live with money. We don't live for money. What's the difference? Money is like a fuel in the car. It is important to have fuel inside the car to drive. But we drive with fuel. We don't drive for fuel. For example, if someone asks, someone is, if you're driving a car, going to a gas station, going to a petrol pump and filling the petrol, and then somebody may ask you, where are you going? Then you'll say that I'll go to the next petrol pump, maybe 150 kilometers away from this place. By that time, my tank will become empty, and again, I'm going to fill petrol in that in my car. And one may say, okay, but after that, where will you go? He says, I will drive for another 150 kilometers. Again, my tank will become empty. Again, I will fill the petrol, and again, I will move forward. But then they will say that, but where do you want to go? He says, I just want to go and fill the petrol. Now, that is, that doesn't make sense. You have to have a destination. You need petrol in the car, but you can't just drive for the purpose of filling petrol. Drive 150 kilometers, tank become empty, fill the petrol. Again, drive, pick up a direction, drive for another 150 kilometers, fill the tank becomes empty, fill it. Again, drive in another direction. That is stupidity, isn't it? One does not live for money. One lives, money is important, so one should live with money, not live for money. So I hope I'm able to make the differentiate the distinction between the two. Health is important. Health is a tool to achieve something. Health is not by an end by itself. Money is important. So we live with money, we live with our healthy body. We don't have to live for money and live for attaining a healthy body. Similarly, everything in this world, be it job, be it our promotion, be it the car, be it anything that we aspire for, are things that we live with, not live for. And this is by limiting our overindulgence. Food is live with food. We don't live for food. We don't live for eating. Uh, Food is important. Food, if we'll not eat food, we'll probably die. If we'll not have proper sleep, we will become unhealthy. But those are the things which we live with, not live for. We live with food, we eat proper food so that, now that so that what comes next is more important. Money is called artha. Obsession for money is called anartha, anartha of greed. So how do we do this? We do this by creating three buckets. One is categorical denial, second is chronological, third is geographical. Categorical is the four regulative principles. They provide us with categories where we have no scope for discussion, where we should simply say no. uh, Meat eating, for example, alcohol drinking, cigarette smoking, illicit sexual relationships, gambling. These are clear no. These are four regulative principles. This is like, if you indulge in these things, we will never be able to become devotee or perform devotional service. If we remain at, now these are the things which we might have had done in past. And if we are doing the same things, even after coming to the devotional service, uh, we will neither we will never be able to become pure good devotee. Pure devotee to bahut dur ki baat hai, but even good devotee we cannot become, as long as we, it's like, if you want to burn a wood, you should protect that wood from water. If it keeps getting wet, it will just create smoke. It will never get burned properly. So if you want to burn a wood, protect it from water. Similarly, if you want to be a nice devotee, protect yourself from these four regulative principles, with from these four bad habits. They just provide us, they just makes us human. Meat eating brings cleanliness in us. We have no authority to kill animals. We have no authority. Alcohol drinking, smoking will just get this. We will just go out of our mind by drinking alcohol. We need our mind, utilize our mind for performing bhakti, to understand Krishna consciousness philosophy and to practice bhakti and become devotee. We need our mind. Illicit sexual relationships again bring uncleanliness, and uncleanliness at a bodily level, also at a mental level. With mind dwelling on the physical bodies of the other opposite sex, you will never be able to perform bhakti properly. Gambling again should be a clear no. So this way, by identifying activities or our attraction and putting them into proper category, if they fall in one of these categories or closer to these categories, it's a clear no. So there's no discussion happening should happen on that. If and that they could be our attractions, we could have had previously indulged in those activities, but they become clear no of now onwards. Chronological sequence of activities is looking is creating a chronology of creating an order in which we do things. Now using technology is unavoidable in today's world, but using techno seeing seeing your checking your WhatsApp messages at the beginning of your day, when you 5 o'clock you wake up and start checking your WhatsApp messages, email accounts, social media, and then think of doing japa, it's going to be a problem, because so you can create a chronological order, a chronological sequence, that I this technology is required, phone is important, and a lot of my work, devotional work also happens on phone, basis phone. Laptop is important, but I will only see those things after completing my rounds, after reading Bhagavad Gita, after reading my daily quota of Bhagavatam. So I create some order. I don't say it, I will not do it at all, but I will say that I'll do this first and I'll do this later. So that by sequencing properly, sequencing, giving priority to my spiritual activities, I can create order in my life, so that I don't completely give up doing those activities, but at the same time I don't overindulge in those activities. Third is geographical dham. Geographical place is a place where we feel less tempted by our attractions. For example, if a cricket match is going on, cricket World Cup final is going to happen, and on that same day, there's a big festival in the temple, and you are given some services in the temple. So if you remain at home thinking, I will just do japa, I will not watch cricket match, big, but if you are so attached to cricket, you will end up watching cricket match. But if you happen to be in temple on that day serving Lord, because of the presence of Lord in the temple, because of the presence of the devotees in the temple, because of your engagement in services of in the temple, you will not even remember that there was a cricket match final going on and who is winning, who is losing, what's happening. You will not just get bothered. So a temple or a place, dham, is a place where you're protected from your attraction. Now, it is not illegal to watch a cricket match, but it is definitely a distraction from your Krishna consciousness to overindulge into those activities. Same goes for stock market. Same goes for our attraction for economics, politics, stock market, cricket, or any other thing that catches our attention and consumes a lot of our time. Watching reels has become a new habit for many people. Continuously watching videos on social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, one after another. This finger is excessively used for switching from one video to another video to another video, and you may start with a 2 minute break with your mobile and end up spending 2 hours watching different videos. So if you are in dham, if you're in temple, if you're in association of devotees, there's a possibility, lesser possibility of you indulging into those, overindulging into those activities. We see Indradumna Maharaj with his disciples on the beach, Harinam, and all of them look happy. So even devotees, everyone is searching for happiness, and devotees are not different. You see sannyasis dancing in the kirtan tunes. so so search for happiness is not bad. It's natural, innate. Soul is Satchit Ananda Vigraha, Satchit Ananda. These are eternal qualities. Eternal quality of a soul is to seek happiness. Safe space is good, but safety is important. But it is not. But we just don't live for safety completely. Its protection is good, but there will come a stage when we will have to be in the world where we will be surrounded by our attractions and temptations. So we need something more than protection to be able to live in the world, at the same time not get affected. We need to reach that kind of a stage. So a ship is safest in the dockyard, but that's not what ships are meant for. Ships are not manufactured to be parked in docks. They are meant for sailing in the oceans. And the moment you enter an ocean, you will be in the dangers. If there you will be surrounded by dangers. So safe space will help us deal with ups and downs of this world. But if we can go to a place where we will no longer get tempted by the attractions of the world, that is the best place to be. Protecting ourselves is saying no to our temptations and attraction, and that should be done in the initial stage. But eventually we should come to a stage where we lose attraction only for those lower things. Child first birthday, typically children get a lot of gifts, and children are very fascinated by the paper of the gift rather than the gift content itself. The every gift is wrapped by a gift paper, which is very which makes a subtle sound, crispy sound it makes, and it's as very colorful, very glossy, very attractive. So a lot of children actually play with the covering on the box rather than the content of the box. They don't even bother about opening the content. They just remove the cover, the paper, the packing paper, and they play with the packing paper. Now this is our condition. And but once with education, once with by performing devotional service, eventually we will understand that this is stupid, and I should be interested more in the content of the gift itself. And that situation comes, that position comes when we lose interest in the when that same child become 21-year old. Again he may get a gift, and that will have a covering paper. But that time he will not play with that cover paper. He will simply remove the cover nicely and look at the gift content inside. So that is where he will search for happiness. So so he has lost the taste for the lower happiness, and now sir got a higher happiness. So this is higher happiness versus lower happiness. So world gives us some happiness. The world gives me some happiness. This world comes from Krishna. So the capacity of this world to give me happiness also comes from Krishna. We'll just read this past part again. Today, it's not that there's no happiness in the material world. For those people who for whom the world is the biggest circle, big circle, it's not that they don't get any happiness from the world. The sexual relationship will give some happiness. Alcohol also brings some happiness. So the pleasures that we experience in the world actually brings us some happiness. Now we are saying Adya Anta Vanta Kauteya Na Teshu Ramate Buddha. It's not that Krishna is not saying that there is no happiness at all. He says Adya Anta Vanta Kauteya. It has a beginning and it has an end. And when that happens, Dukkha Yonaya Evate. Such desire for happiness is actually impregnated with misery, because beginning and end, the moment it will end, you will be surrounded by misery. So you will feel miserable after that. So therefore, na tashu ramate buddha. Buddha or the wise people don't delight in these things. If you are wise, you will not delight in the gift of wrapper. Rather, you will be delightful. You will search for happiness in the gift content itself. It is Krishna saying the foolish are those who are trying to become happy by playing with the gift wrapper, and that's not so very difficult to understand. So Krishna saying that happiness is there. Now, if you think of a 21-year boy playing with the gift wrapper, he will also get some happiness if he has. So, but he says that the happiness that the world provides, whatever is the mean, whatever is the source, is there, is possible, but it's a short, it's a temporary, it's very short in small in quantity, but it is there. See, Krishna says this whole world comes from me. Whole world comes from me. And the capacity of this world to give you happiness also comes from me. Capacity that the world has in giving me happiness also comes from me. So you can imagine how much happiness will be there in Krishna. So if we search for happiness in Krishna, Krishna can give us much, much more happiness. So in the world, which is an expanded energy of Krishna, can give us so much happiness that we spend whole life searching for that happiness in the world. Imagine how much happiness Krishna is capable of giving us. So we should be open to that idea that Krishna can be the source of my happiness, and higher happiness is what I will get from Krishna, so that I can easily the give up my lower happiness. My quantity and quality of happiness that I will experience from Krishna is going to be much, much more superior, much, much more bigger, beyond my imagination. Mahaprabhu says that Anandam Ambudhi Vardhanam. Ananda, कैसा आनंद? अंबुधि. अंबुधि मीन्स ओशन लाइक आनंद. ओशन के साइज का आनंद, समुद्र के साइज का आनंद. Samudra is also limited, but this samudra, this ocean is increasing. Anandam Ambudhi Vardhanam. Ambudhi is a ever increasing ocean. Pratipadam, at every step, at every moment you perform some spiritual activity, your ocean can increase. It never decreases. Anandam Ambudhi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purnamruta Swadanam can gives you perfect taste of amruta, perfect taste of happiness, can make you completely satisfied. Now that is the kind of happiness Krishna can offer us while in the material world. So we should be open to this idea. As a devotee, as a new devotees, as a practicing devotees, we should be open to this idea. But it is not realized very easily. So earlier the God was my end. Now God has become my end. Earlier, the God, the world was my end. Now God has become my end. Earlier, the attaining promotion in the job is my desire, dream. Now attaining Krishna becomes my dream. Attaining my biggest, owning 4 homes, the biggest car, the best car is my dream. Now serving Krishna is my dream. Attaining, doing a vacation in United States for 1 month is my dream. Now going to Vrindavan and staying there for 1 month, serving devotees and Lord is my dream. Now, this is again a transformation similar to what we saw in Arjuna. At the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is confused, morose, unhappy, crying. End of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is Dhanurdhara, Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara, is willing to pick up his bow and arrow, willing to fight, confident, uh, and completely energetic, completely convinced. Um, uh, so this transformation is also similar one. Now, how do we attain that transformation? Now, uh, we understand from Bhagavad Gita that that this is the case that Krishna can provide us. Now, all of us, all of you have heard. However, all of us don't have the practical experience of that happiness. This is theory. What we have heard just now is theory. And what devotees actually experience is practically they experience what we learn in theory. Now there's a journey that we have to undertake from theory to practical practice, the living that experience practically. There's a these two are two different ends. Now we are at the beginning, of our devotional journey. We are hearing theory from Bhagavad Gita that Anandam Ambudhi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purnamruta Swadanam. If you become devotee, if you develop taste in Krishna, if you develop taste in chanting his name, if you develop taste in hearing his pastime, serving him, serving devotees, you can experience ocean like happiness. Now, this is a theoretical statement today, because I don't feel experience that ocean like happiness. I don't even get a drop of that ocean as of now. How do I move from this point to this point where I actually experience that ocean like happiness? So that is what will teach, that we will learn. We we hear Bhagavad Gita classes, we get higher education. Now, God becomes my purpose. Earlier, my promotion is my purpose. Getting married and having children, getting a credit card, getting promotion is my purpose of life. Buying a 5 BHK home is my purpose of life. So my all these purposes, becoming very very rich is my purpose. Becoming richer than my neighbor is my purpose of life. All those purposes get replaced by Krishna. Now Krishna becomes my purpose. Krishna becomes my purpose. It gives us higher vision and gives us higher purpose of life. Now this purpose of attaining Krishna is higher than all other purposes that the world can offer us. Be it a vacation in United States, or trip to Europe, trip to wherever you want. All of those purposes put together, also this one single purpose of attaining Krishna is higher than all of those put together also. How how do we how we do this journey, how we complete this journey, is through performing sadhana and seva. What do you mean by sadhana? Sadhana is hearing and chanting, hearing Krishna katha, reading from Bhagavatam, reading from Bhagavad Gita on a systematic way, in a systematic way, and chanting our rounds, chanting in congregational japa, with devotees, singing in the temple hall, singing with our family members and friends, coming together and singing Harikatha, singing glories of Krishna. So sadhana is most important. Daily hearing, reading, and chanting is most crucial. And seva is some kind of service. If we have no time, at least if we are working, we should be able to offer the part of our earnings for the service of Krishna. If we can, we have ability, we should be engaged in service of Krishna physically, practically. Practical devotional service is what Krishna Prabhupada has translated Krishna consciousness is. So all of these should be done with commitment. Commitment means mother is committed to serve a child. She may feel like, sometimes she may not feel like serving child, but she shows commitment. Commitment means even at the middle of night, child wakes up and starts crying. Mother, no matter how tired she feels, how sleepy she feels, she wakes up. She wakes up and do what's required to be done for the taking care of the child. So this is commitment. So sometimes the same commitment we need to show in Krishna consciousness, in hearing and chanting. We may commit ourselves to do certain rounds of japa, and we should do it sometimes when we feel like doing it, and sometimes we just don't feel like doing it. We should still do it. So this is commitment. Attending classes. At times, we genuinely get caught up with worldly things, and we are not able to, but then we should feel regretful for not being able to attend classes with regularity, and we should then catch up on all the recording and express our so we should contact the speaker and tell them in advance that we are not able to attend for so and so reasons, and express uh, we should express sorry for that. Being sorry, you should say that I'm very sorry, I'm not able to attend this class because of this reason, and please be merciful and please share with me the recording. I'll listen to the recording, I'll come back to you with any questions or comments as early as I can. So this is our commitment to the process of hearing and chanting. Similarly, japa, we have online japa sessions every morning. We all devotees assemble and do japa. This help us becoming committed to the process. In home, if we do japa alone, sometimes we may do, sometimes we may not do. Nobody will know. People will simply take your word for granted. Krishna knows. We can't cheat Krishna. So it's better to look foolish in front of devotees who are guiding us rather than looking foolish in front of Krishna. Then everything will be lost. So hearing and chanting with commitment, with if we do this with sincerity and commitment, we will be able to complete this journey from this point where we think everything is a theory to this point where we actually have experience of that higher happiness. Now once we experience that higher happiness with committed sadhana and seva under guidance of a devotee, why this is important? Because we can't become, if I want to become doctor, I need to be enrolled into a medical college. I may be a brilliant student, but I can't become doctor on my own. If I want to become an engineer or a chartered accountant, I need to be enrolled into some institute who will certify me as that chartered accountant or as an engineer. Similarly, we need guidance from devotees. If we start doing things as we feel like doing, uh, we may do sometimes, we may not do sometimes, and then we may not be able to achieve any result, tangible results out of it. So guidance of devotee is most crucial factor that will ensure that you actually move from this point to this point. You get experience of happiness in higher happiness in Krishna consciousness only if you are under the guidance of some devotees. Strong purpose will help us remain committed. How do I remain show my commitment? The purpose is strong, association is strong, then our commitment will also remain steady in performing sadhana and seva. By spiritual education, we understand that Krishna to be that higher reality or goal to be pursued in life. At this time, it is theory we learn by studying scriptures. At the end, we will get complete realization of how Krishna is actually that higher reality or goal or purpose when we will develop taste for his name, form, glories, and pastimes, leelas. Now, this journey from theory to final realization is experiment we perform on ourselves. Now, यहाँ पे guinea pig हम खुद है. We are performing this experiment on ourselves. That having heard Bhagavad Gita message, I want to now experience that anand, that ananda, that happiness, that higher taste I need to get, and that for that we have to perform sadhana with commitment, with sincerity, and seva. And both of these, when done under guidance of a guru or a devotee, it gives you instant results, very very quick results. So because guru will guide basis Bhagavad Gita instructions, a devotee will guide basis Srimad Bhagavatam instructions, and this is spiritual science. Anybody who does this part with all their sincerity is 100% going to experience transformation in his life, where we will immediately see anartha nivritti, the attraction for worldly pleasures going down and attraction for Krishna increasing. And that way he will, and the moment your attraction for Krishna increases, your connection with Krishna becomes stronger, you can actually experience higher happiness. So much that ocean like happiness is just awaiting to meet us very, very quickly. So when we'll get this taste, we will not be tempted anymore by the temptations offered by the world. The illicit sex, whatever the pleasure that it will offer, we will not be attracted towards it. We will not be attracted towards alcohol anymore. We will not be attracted towards smoking cigarettes anymore. So we will lose the taste. We will lose the taste. Not it's so it's easy. It's not easy to keep saying no to these things. Whenever those will come in the initial phase, it is important to do that. Say no when these temptations will come up, when people will offer us alcohol, offer us meat, offer us sexual relationship in outside our marriage or outside illegal illicit relationship, we should be able to say no. but saying no lifelong is not helpful. You should develop a taste, a higher taste in such a way that you lose taste only in that. Even then, if it is available free of cost, also you are not interested. Just like a 21-year-old boy is not interested in playing with the gift wrapper anymore, even though it is available to him. So that is the journey we can take under the guidance of a devotee by performing sadhana and seva with commitment under guidance of a devotee. We'll look at the quick purport. Prabhupada writes, unless one is transcendently situated, it is not possible to cease from the sense enjoyment. The process of restriction from sense enjoyment by rules and regulation is something like restraining a deceased person from eating certain type of eatables. So when you are deceased, you are restricted. Your diet gets restricted. Now it is restriction, but it is meant for your patient's faster recovery. The patient may not feel like time. Patient may feel that patient neither likes such restrictions nor loses his taste for the edibles. So fried food is avoid fried food when you're down with fever, it'll be told eat some simple food, dal khichdi khao, dal rice khao, eat very basic some simple stuff, so that you don't become weak. You're taking a lot of medicines, so you need some energy, but at the same time you don't eat pakodas, vadas, and all kind of fried stuff, because then it will be too much for your stomach to digest it, because while you're sick you'll not be able to do a lot of activities. Your energy is sucked by sickness. So the patient doesn't like those restrictions, right? I mean, who likes not to eat tasty stuff? So but patient has to follow the instructions, and neither patient has lost the taste. It's not that he's the moment he will say now abhi मैं ना बोल रहा हूँ, but the moment I will get cured, I will eat 10 vada pavs or whatever. So his taste has also not gone. Similarly, sense restriction by some spiritual process like Ashtanga Yoga in the matter of yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, etc. is recommended for less intelligent people who have no better knowledge. Now, Prabhupada will talk about those who have better knowledge, those who have able to develop that higher taste. But one who has tasted the beauty of the Supreme Lord Krishna in the course of his advancement in Krishna consciousness no longer has a taste for dead material things. Therefore, restrictions are there for the less intelligent neophytes in the spiritual advancement of spiritual life. But such restrictions are only good until one actually has a taste for Krishna consciousness. When one is actually in Krishna conscious, he automatically loses his taste for pale things. So Prabhupada is recommending, Prabhupada is requesting all of us to develop that taste, perform sadhana, perform seva, and perform it under the guidance of a devotee. And if you do this sincerely with commitment, then you are bound to experience Krishna. You are bound to get that higher taste. Once you get that higher taste, this lower taste will no longer attract to you. Let's do a final activity for today. Again, go back to your chat box and type, retype the purpose of studying your Bhagavad Gita. Retype name of a devotee who is guiding you in this journey, and also tell me how you want to act going forward under his guidance. So the name of the devotee, you should have one name, two names, three names. That is okay. That you have taken guidance from these devotees. That is most crucial, because that will ensure the one and three happens. So type name of the devotees who are guiding you in your personal journey. Rewrite the purpose that you want to achieve after by studying Bhagavad Gita, and tell us how you are going to listen to the instructions given by those devotees. Because the moment you put a name of a devotee, then you also commit yourself to listen to the instructions given by those devotees. Else, it's like once you go to a doctor, you need to follow the instructions given. If he says don't do this, you just have to stop doing this. Else, there's no recovery possible. You will just aggravate your sickness. Similarly, once you take shelter of a devotee or come under the shelter of any devotee, start taking their guidance. You should have at least one or two or three such devotees. One is also enough, but you should have trusted devotees whom you should be consulting every now and then. If you don't have any devotee who is guiding you, it's not a very happy state to be. You should find one, you should search one, you can put my name if you don't have any other name, but you should have a name. You should have somebody whom you are regularly consulting in your spiritual journey. And you can take to the chat box and start typing. We'll do a summary. We'll summarize. We just have 10 more minutes. So we'll give a couple of more minutes to complete typing for all of you. Let us summarize what we've discussed today. Summary, everyone understand that everyone is searching for happiness. If you don't have higher happiness, you will be indulging in lower happiness only, because the search for happiness is innate for the soul. Soul is searching for happiness. Now, basics, our conceptions, past indulgences, environment, we decide on the source of our happiness in this world. Born in a devotee family, from the childhood you will have attraction towards Krishna. If you perform devotional service in your past life, then from the childhood you are attracted towards Krishna. But if you're not, then you have a lot of other attractions in the material world. So depending on our past indulgences in this life or in past life, our environment, we determine the sources of our happiness in this world. But make no mistake, everyone is searching for happiness in the world. So we consider God to be the supplier of means for our enjoyment. We expect peace from God. We don't expect happiness from God. So if we progress in devotional service, uh, we will experience the reverse. Krishna will become the source of our happiness, and world will become a means to serve Krishna. This can be done by committed sadhana, hearing and chanting, and seva under guidance of a devotee. On our own, we cannot do this. Nobody should try to do this. Uh, if we are if we are not having any devotee guide, we should search for one. We should find one. We should tell them that we want to be a devotee. We perform devotional service under your guidance. Please keep instructing me from time to time. And whatever the instructions that the devotee gives, do it accordingly. Then only it is possible for us to move from point A to point B. Else, we are stuck somewhere in point A or stuck somewhere in the journey itself. We give up the journey itself. Send a message to your devotee mentor now and request him to save you, never leave you in this life, so that you will experience that higher happiness, higher taste. Once you get to that taste, you will no longer be tempted and attracted towards the lower happiness that the world also offers. And eventually our higher happiness, experience of higher happiness should 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 create, should lead us to Krishna, should ultimately lead us to Krishna, because ultimately it's all coming from Krishna. And if you attain Krishna, how much more happiness you can experience. So that should cultivate, develop make our decision, our desire to attain Krishna stronger and stronger. So that higher happiness, simply by chanting his name, what we get should inspire us to attain Krishna at the end. And that is how we can perfect our human birth of life, by going back to Krishna. hearing and chanting. Sadhana, we talked about sadhana, and this is how we have sadhana schedule. Japa sessions in the morning, reading sessions in the evening. All of us are expected to be here. Unless you happen to be doing japa in the temple, you should be doing japa here on the Zoom. If you are troubled by the voice sound, you minimize the sound, mute the sound, but show up your presence, give your attendance, and that way devotees know that you exist and you are still chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Reading, if you can't read, somebody else will read for you. At least log into the session and put your earphones and listen to what they are reading, and that happens from 8:30 to 9:15. So a lot of facilities are available. It's our weakness of heart that is now preventing us from becoming a nice devotee. We know that this is what it is. We know this should be what it should be. We know uh, we will not be happy in the world, but this is only at a theory. If we don't create a strong sadhana under devotee guidance, this theory will never get translated into realization, actual realization. So we should give ourselves an opportunity to become nice devotee of Krishna. We should give ourselves an opportunity to develop taste for Krishna, and that way we can we will no longer be troubled by the lower temptations that the world will offer to us. We will never indulge in those lower happiness, lower sources of happiness anymore, because we will become fixed in the connection with Krishna. So we'll conclude today's session with this. We'll see if there are any questions. We can take those, or else we will meet next Sunday with another topic from Bhagavad Gita. Sorry. So since there are no questions, let's conclude today's session. Thank you everyone for gift of your time. I hope you will go through this slides. I will circulate the slides at the end of this session. Go through the slides, go through the recording if you wish to, but do take devotional life seriously. Do take instructions of the Bhagavad Gita seriously. Do take instructions coming from the devotees seriously, and practice sadhana, seva, under guidance. Thank you so much. We meet next Sunday with another topic. Until that, till such time, uh, we have a nice Krishna conscious week ahead. Thank you everyone for joining today. श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरे कृष्णा. Thank you everyone for joining today.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thanks.
Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
Thank you,
thank you so
Prabhuji. Hare
much.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanava
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna Prabhuji,
Dandavat
Dandavat
Pranam.
Pranam. Thank you so much.
Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.